Well, Jesus may not want me for a sunbeam, but he does want me to talk to you guys about failed follow-ups. These are sequels that nobody knew existed. That's what we're going to talk about. 5 follow-ups, 5 sequels that you and I had no idea were even around. So let's get into the list. All right, first on the list is Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, Part 2. This came out in 1996 and is an immediate follow-up to the first one. It's not actually that bad of a movie. Obviously, does not have the performance that the first one is kind of known for. That's what makes Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, the first one, so good, is that main performance that you get from Michael Rooker, as well as the directing choices that are really kind of disturbing. That's one of those movies that when I first watched it, I didn't think it was that, like, I didn't realize how fucked up it was until I had to watch it again. And you get a little bit of that in Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer Part 2, but it's a little different. Obviously, the performance, like I said, is a little off. It's not quite as good. Not that it's bad, it's just not quite as good. If you would have called it a movie by any other name, it probably would have been a much better situation. But adding on the Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer Part 2, Mask of Sanity, just unfortunately connects it to a movie that is far better than it. All right, next up, Warriors of Virtue 2, Return to Tao. This is a movie that came out in 2002, picking up on the 1997 film that preceded it. Warriors of Virtue is one of those movies that I have a connection to because I went and saw it in theaters. I loved it. I forgot the name of it and could not remember it for years. I just really wanted to find the movie about kangaroos, and no one ever knew what I was talking about, and it took me a long time to rediscover what the name of the movie was. This was pre-internet, obviously, and it turns out they made a sequel to it, which I also didn't know existed, in 2002. Like I said, this was made in Australia and it picks up years after the first one, and it's also in like a parallel universe. And also the kangaroos are no longer kangaroos anymore. They just look like regular humans. It takes like everything about the first one and just erases it almost and just kind of adds on the name, which is why it's kind of probably a lost sequel that most people didn't even know existed. But yes, there is a Warriors of Virtue 2, and you're not missing anything if you've never seen it.
Of nature as their weapons: wood, fire, earth, metal, and water.
Speaking of not missing anything, we enter into Night of the Comet 2. Another one that I did not know existed. This is actually a little bit weird. So this is a TV series from, I think, South Korea, but it kind of takes the story of Night of the Comet and applies it to like a 20-episode TV show about a quirky girl who falls in love with each other right as a comet's about to hit the world. So it plays off of the ideas of the first one, but does not kind of directly pick up where Night of the Comet leaves off, obviously. So in that way, it's less of a sequel and more of a remake, but it's called Night of the Comet 2. That is the name it goes by, and it is a direct continuation of the first, or at least it proclaims to be. I'm not 100% sure. It came out in 2020 and was on the air for one season and then disappeared. So not really a whole lot of information about it. In fact, what you're seeing right now is pretty much the only thing I could really find about it. All right, the next one is a fun one. Demons 3. There are multiple Demons 3, and none of them are actually Demons 3. So if you've ever seen Demons, it's a fantastic horror movie. Demons 2 is I think, an even better horror movie, my opinion. But in spite of my opinion, Demons 2 is a really good follow-up to Demons. And so you might have thought, like, well, where's Demons 3? Well, there are multiple ones, but there's also none of them. So Demons 3 was released here in America. They took a movie that was called The Ogre, which has really nothing to do at all with the Demons series, and slapped the Demons 3 title onto it and called that Demons 3 The Ogre. That was silly, but it has nothing to do with it. There was also another movie called Demons 3, but that was actually a movie called Black Demons, which came out in 1991. And same thing, they just threw the title Demons 3 onto it. It also doesn't have anything to do with the Demons series, although it has more to do with it than The Ogre does. But both of them have nothing to do with it. The actual Demons 3, the one that was originally going to be Demons 3, was actually a movie that was released called The Church by Argento, but it was never released as Demons 3. It was just released as The Church, but it was going to originally be Demons 3. So, to recap, there are two Demons 3s, and neither of them are Demons 3, and the actual Demons 3 is a movie called The Church. Is that confusing? A little bit. So there is no Demons 3, but there is a Demons 3, but it's not the Demons 3s that we know of as Demons 3. It's a completely different movie. Tried to explain that as best I could. It's a little confusing. This is what happens when you get into 80s Italian horror movies. They get fun.
How is this messing things up? What's your dream? Owning whores?
We will end with Showgirls 2. This movie came out in 2011 rather, and is a follow-up to the 1995 Showgirls, and is a direct follow-up. It immediately picks up from where we left off with her committing a murder and on the way to Los Angeles to hopefully become a dancer on a TV show. It gets into sex working. It gets into some more murders. It's not a very good movie, in all honesty. It was funded via Kickstarter, and the sources online say that it was going for like $30,000 was the budget, and it kind of shows that at times. If that was really the budget, it kind of looks like that. The acting is not very good. It's about on par with like your favorite porn, whatever that is. The main problem with it is that it's really fucking long. Like it's well over its runtime, 1 hour and 45 minutes for a movie that has no reason to be that long, other than just let's squeeze as many chances of her putting an orgy together as we can. It's very exploitive and takes away a lot of the fun that you found in the original Showgirls. I love the first Showgirls movie. I think that movie is one of those underrated classics. And Showgirls 2 is definitely not that. Well, there was my list of 5 sequels that you didn't know existed, and now you can go watch them or avoid them like the plague. Either way, it's up to you. Have a good one. Holy shit, thanks for stopping on in. If this is your first time, please give some of our other episodes a listen. We do a weekly podcast where we talk about end-of-the-world movies, and we've done several of them now. And every now and then we do something completely different. If you hated it, then don't come back. That's okay, right? That's fine too. And if you really enjoyed it, you can give us a subscribe, so that way you can keep coming back and keep seeing all the bullshit we come up with every single week. Thank you guys, and goodbye.